It's your boy Alex here from Team Generations, and today we are back again with another video. So just kind of wanted to go over BCS Manhattan, my experience, and just a lot of my general thoughts on the format and just what I experienced during that day. So without further ado, let's hop right in. Cool. Hopping right into it, like I said, we are just going to start off by thanking everybody from the event staff. It was super smooth. A lot of people just, in very quickly. They checked people in a great fashionable time. I think we started more or less on time, whatever it was, but rounds really went by pretty fast. There was no repairs on day 2. I know day 1 got a little dicey, but wasn't able to make day 1, unfortunately. In general, just a really smooth event, so thank you for them. Vendors were great too, talked to a couple of them. Very nice overall. So getting into more like the gameplay and my breakdown of like the meta and just like issues in general right now with the whole BCS season. So yeah, I'm going to talk about like my personal experience, but my experience in large is just like everybody's playing Steam Maidens in V, and it's been a tier 0 deck, and it's like, why is this allowed for so long to just go on and on and on? Like, this should have been addressed, and I think that's a real failure on Bushiroad's part. I don't know if they believe that there are counters out there that just have not been discovered, that this isn't that big of an issue. I just disagree. I mean, I think everybody else does too. It is a tier 0 format. Steam Maidens is the best deck, and if you're not playing Steam Maidens, you're not going to like seriously win, and like, I get that. I know that rhetoric. I don't wholeheartedly agree with it, but I'm just going to say it and put it out there. But at the same time, I just didn't want to roll up with like a tier 1 deck. I'm not saying anything against anybody who like really use the deck at all. Like, it's a competitive event. You have to use what you believe is going to make you win. And if you're really serious about it, like, sure. My whole thing was, even if I qualified, I was not going to go to Worlds. My wedding is around that time. I just bought a house too. I'm renovating a bunch of stuff. Like, I just have so much going on with the new job too in my life. Like, I'm not able to dedicate enough time to really make an impact or actually like really care about going to Worlds at this point. Next year is going to be a different story, but with that being said, I really brought a deck that I thought required some minimal input. I didn't have a ton of time to test this time around, unfortunately, but I brought Lupina Melody, and I thought that this really embodied like peak V era, like go first, win kind of mentality. You can kind of get over a lot of the heal guardians, especially if your opponent doesn't have any. It's actually really nice. So I do have my breakdown on Twitter. Go follow me over there. Just go check out the post. I'll link them down in the description below. Thank you in advance. But overall, it was a really fun day. 8 rounds, went 5-3. Unfortunately, lost 2 to Steam Maidens, 1 to Astral Poet. Can't really say anything bad. All my opponents were awesome. Met some awesome people. Frank from Naru Samurai, super nice guy. Also KC2, I think he's part of Vision or something. He might be. I'm completely forgetting off the top of my head. I'm sorry if I'm speaking out of turn, but he was a really nice guy. I ended up following him like way before on like Twitter, both the accounts for quite a bit. But then I didn't put it 2 and 2 together when I was facing him, and then like afterwards we exchanged socials, and then like later I looked at my phone, I was like, wait a minute, I know this guy. So we went and talked after. Super nice guy coming out from Virginia. So faced a lot of people from like everywhere. It was kind of crazy. Overall, really fun day. I think that Steam Maidens has to be addressed. I think that in large, like the formats for V have been pretty bad over the past 3 years, 2 or 3 years. Ever since like the Gurgit, Luard, kind of Overlord kind of era, like it just hasn't been straightened out. And I think that's something really has to be done, really has to be addressed. I don't want to kill the format because I really do love V, but it's in a bad spot. This is the one format without the degenerate like over triggering, the mechanic that everyone hates. And you still manage to have a tier 0 format, which is absolutely terrible. Hopping into some of the other ones, again, talking at large, I think that it's also a problem that in premium, if you're not playing a deck with like a proper ride down or like an insane like kill going first turn, which I don't think is a bad thing actually, the second thing, but if you don't have a ride down, I feel like you're not playing the game proper. And that's really unfortunate because that really shuts off about like 80% of decks, maybe, just speaking off the top of my head, and really just promotes this degenerate, I'm not going to let you stride, but I'm still going to go for this insane turn. Highlander, Narukami has a ride up, I guess. Steam Maidens has the ride down. We're just naming off the best decks. Like those top 3 right there were some of the best right there. Spikes has the first, going first, insane, like greed on, restand turn that can just shut you off. It also has Galley too, which, you have to be a good pilot to pilot through that, but that's not so much of an issue. But I feel like there's so many decks with the ride ups, ride downs that just kind of shut things off and really just make a fun, diverse format just a little bit more degenerate than it needs to be. So there is that. And then standard just feels boring to me personally. I'm not like super into it. I do play it every week, don't get me wrong, but overall I'm not very much into that format. I think that just the support for clans that I typically like have been pretty lackluster. So overall, didn't attend day 1. Just because I couldn't, I had a lot going on in my life. I had to actually receive my ovens that we ordered and install them that day for our house, but I really had a great time at BCS. Again, thank you to all the events and all the people. Honestly, like, shouts out to everybody at Locals. Like, we have such a special Locals, and I feel very blessed in that regard. Everybody's like super nice and kind. Like, players from all different parts of the island come and like they talk to each other, and like it really feels like a support system at these events. Everybody's happy for each other. Everybody's trying to cheer each other up. So I really do appreciate that. Shouts out to Mike for winning day 1 standard at Manhattan. Also Jordan, top 8 in V, congrats to you. And Alec, also Oatman, our team member, direct team member, for coming in top 8 also for premium, playing Highlander. So deck profile for that coming soon. Maybe I'll get Mike's profile on here too. Mike, if you're watching this, hit me up. I'll hit you up at some point too. Overall, what else? Also shouts out to John. He qualified down in Puerto Rico for V for Worlds. So super excited for him as well. So didn't have the showing that we really wanted to, but I think in the upcoming years, next year probably, I think a lot of us are going to take it a little bit more serious and just really push ourselves. I think that we're at that level now. We have great talent, tons of people on Long Island that are like top level players. Some players too coming in for the city. I definitely appreciate. Shouts out to UK if you're watching, but great player also who made top 8. But overall, really fun. I think that this year was a little wonky with the formats. You know, get OT'd in 2 formats, get Steam made in the 3rd. All right, whatever. But looking forward to the future, and shouts out to everybody I did meet at the tournament. Thank you guys so much. This is Alex from Team Generations. If you have any questions, let me know down below. Deck profiles that come soon. I'm going to kick up the content again like I used to, so thank you in advance. See ya.